Gentlemen, here we are again, Hudson County View, live and Here we are again, Hudson County View, live and uncut. I'm your host, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, John R. Hudson, and we have a lot for you, of course, in Hudson County news. So we have a special segment for you today. We're going to speak with three members of the Jersey City Board of Education, Change Our Children slate. So that will take up the majority of our show. So before that, though, I just want to touch on a few topics that were important in Hudson County this week. So first of all, we really couldn't talk about this week in news if we didn't talk about Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health and CarePoint Health. So as you all know, there was a press conference in Bayonne on Monday. Mayor Jimmy Davis, the county executive, Tom DeGees, and a whole lot of other people, all the legislators from LD 31 were there, and they had these concerns that the Bayonne Medical Center may be closed. You know, both Robert Wood Johnson and CarePoint said that that was not in the plans. And then the very next day, we got word that Robert Wood Johnson would be purchasing the Hoboken University Medical Center as well as Christ Hospital. What the future holds for Bayonne remains unclear. We're just told that CarePoint is looking for shareholders, and we're going to see what that means, I imagine, by the end of the year. But clearly, this is one of the biggest stories in, I would say, quite a few months, if not years. I mean, obviously, the hospital systems in Hudson County have a huge importance for this whole community. So we're going to see what we're going to see, but clearly this one's a long ways from over. So on top of that, we also want to tell you that Frank Rea was denied the right to have a new trial that was decided by a federal court judge this week, and his sentencing is currently scheduled for November 14th. Of course, that is always subject to change. On top of that, last night, the Jersey City Council voted against a Recreation Department reorganization, but they did approve pay raises that will start to take effect as early as next year. So with that, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the Change Our Children candidates. Just give us a minute.
It takes more than a state-of-the-art medical facility to make a great hospital. It takes a team of dedicated medical professionals. That's the Jersey City Medical Center, Hudson County's #1 hospital. Medical teams consisting of New Jersey's top doctors, Magnet Award-winning nurses, and accomplished hospital associates, all committed to your good health. That's what you have at the Jersey City Medical Center. Make Hudson County's #1 hospital your first choice. Visit us on the web at barnabashealth.org. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
And we're back, Hudson County View, live and uncut. John R. Hudson, and now we're joined with Alexander Hamilton from the Change for Children slate. Alex, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, John.
All right, so obviously we're doing this all on the fly. This is kind of fun. We never had this many guests in one show, so it's first time for everything. Thank you for being a part of it, everyone, especially you for kicking us off. So with that said, Alex, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, obviously, this is an important election for Jersey City and, of course, for our school district. I mean, there's 13 candidates on the ballot. Why do you think you and your colleagues are the best 5?
Well, I think, my background myself, I've been in Jersey City for 30 years. I have a special needs child who currently attends PS 37, the Cordero School. He is 8 years old. He's in the 3rd grade. I've seen a lot of the things in the schools that have just sort of not sat well with me over the last couple of years, and I decided that I would want to do something about that. I think that we've put together a great team. One of the things that I've learned about my team over the last 2 months is that they're real people who really care about the community. I think that's the most important thing I can say about them, is that they're all devoted to the community. We've all never done this before, but we've all made a decision that this is something we want to do to help make change for children.
So look, every election cycle, whether it's Jersey City, whether it's Hoboken, whether it's Washington, D.C., obviously the people that aren't in office say that it's time for change. I mean, It's not unusual, right?
Absolutely.
So why do you think that in this particular point in time, the school board needs to see a change?
I think one of the big problems is that the school board does not integrate with the communities properly, and it's not it's not very transparent and doesn't really interact with the community very well at all. I think one of the things that we can change definitely right away is the fact that we want to integrate with the communities much more than we see now. We want to integrate with the PTAs, we want to integrate with the schools, we want to integrate with community leaders and make sure that community and transparency is of the utmost performance level that it should be at. Because obviously, if parents are informed of what's going on in the schools, they're more likely to interact with the children and the teachers and partake to make sure that their children are getting a fair and good education.
Very good. So with that said, is there anything going on at the school board that you think is going well that you would like to expand upon or improve on, or even just continue running just the way it is?
I think the best asset that we have in the school system right now is the teachers. Honestly, I see them work. I know how dedicated they are, especially having a special needs child. I see the level of commitment that they show on a day in, day out basis. I think the one thing I would change for them again would be to make sure that they have the proper support. But obviously the teachers are our foundation of our school system. They're what really makes things work for our children. I just want to work closer with them moving forward, and I think they're really great.
All right, so if elected, what would be 2 or 3 initiatives that you and your team would like to accomplish upon, taking the oath of office and actually being a trustee on the Jersey City Board of Education?
I think a lot of this goes back to what I said before. I think we need to absolutely conduct a forensic audit, and we need to share that information with the community and the public, because obviously the schools are funded through tax dollars, correct?
Yes.
We need to make sure that the community and the parents understand where that money is being spent. So we really are advocating for full transparency on the budget once we get in. Conduct that, make sure that that information gets out to the parents, and really, again, take it back to the community and work with the community. Because I can come up with an agenda right now and say, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to change that. But I think if you go into the communities and you just listen to the parents, listen to the PTAs, listen to the different leaders, you may walk out with a different agenda than when you walked in with. But I think we can start with a forensic audit on the budget and make sure that it's understood that that should be public record for people to understand and know where their money is being spent.
So we've been told by school officials on the current board that there's been some sort of audit. I mean, it's been unclear as to when it started, as to what is entailed, but we've been told that there's some sort of audit taking place for at least a year now, right?
Right.
So obviously, again, the details are limited, but what do you think would differentiate what's going on now versus what you could enact if elected?
Well, like I said before, full transparency, right? I mean, I don't think we've ever had full transparency on what the budget is, where it's being spent, how it's being allocated. I think we have to make that public. I think people have the right to know where the money is being spent, and how it's being spent, and when it's being spent. I think that's very important for people to understand. We've talked about this audit, we haven't seen it. It's something we want to do right away, day one, when we get in.
All right, so obviously this budget is huge. I mean, it's usually in the range of about $600 to $700 million, right? And there's always a shortfall. I mean, of course, we all know about the struggles with Trenton and, past administrations there, so on and so forth. We could go about this all day, right?
Yeah.
But where do you allocate the responsibility versus the Board of Educations of past versus the Trenton administrations of past, and where do you think that they intersect?
Well, the fact of the matter is that we've actually known that the state was actually going to give control back to the Jersey City a while ago. This was probably 5 years ago. And there was never really a transition made during that period to make sure that the city could be self-sustaining as far as schools went. So the first thing we need to do is, rather than look back, we need to look forward. How can we actually gain more as far as revenues go? We started with the 1% tax, which was an excellent thing. Probably should have been done 5 years ago when we knew this was going to happen. The payroll tax, sorry, yes. I think that that's an important key measure that was taken by the city. It doesn't cover the whole budget though, so we really need to find other ways to be further inclusive and make sure that the city is allocating enough money towards the schools. Where that money is going to come from is what we have to work on. But we need to do that through full transparency, again, with all of the city agencies. And I'm talking about city council, the mayor's office, city planners, making sure that people understand what's going where, why, and why are we making certain decisions. We need to build new schools, we know that. We know we have lead in the water. We need to repair these things, but we need to make sure that we have enough money to take care of these issues.
So whenever we're talking about the budget, whenever we're talking about these schools, of course, the budget gaps are always going to be there, at least for the foreseeable future. So we're always talking about payment in lieu of taxes and tax abatements. So how much do you think should be allocated to the schools as just a rule of thumb going forward? I mean, obviously that's not a trustee decision, but if you had some say in the matter, what would you like to see it be?
Well, as we know, that the pilot payments, as you're talking about, technically the city can do whatever they want with that money, right? They can allocate whatever it is. I think there was a a motion passed that 20% should go to schools. I'd like to see that number go up. I'd also like to see other methods used to figure out how we can make sure developers are doing what we need them to do in our communities. Not the way they want, but the way we need them to. I think that's important to distinguish the difference between the two. Because if we're going to give abatements out, we need to make sure that the projects that are going in are beneficial to the city, not just for tax dollars, because they're already getting a tax break, right? We need to make sure that they're building schools, they're incorporating funds for that to make sure that the budget isn't completely reliant on the 1% tax or things like that. So if we have more control over what the developers are doing, and we make sure that we understand that they need to know, they need to do what we want to do, not the other way around, which is the way it's been, especially when you get these abatements. And I know abatements are a big topic of hot discussion, especially downtown with all the buildings. We don't have control of that, as you mentioned. That's not our thing. But we need to make sure that if they happen, we need to work with city council and city planning that they're done the proper way for not just the city, but for the school system as well.
Very good, Alex. Thank you very much.
Thank
we
you.
are going to be back with one of your colleagues in just a moment, but first we're going to take a quick word from our sponsors.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport. Live like you want.
The Jersey City Medical Center. You know it for its award-winning, life-saving ambulance service. It's also your health hub, with health and wellness locations staffed with certified professionals all through Hudson County. The Jersey City Medical Center. Here to help you with your healthy, here when you need us the most. The Jersey City Medical Center. Visit us on the net to learn more. Jersey City Medical Center, Robert Wood Johnson, Barnabas Health Facility. Let's be healthy together.
Hudson County View live and uncut. John Arhitis, and now we're joined with Anthony Sport Sharperson of the Change Our for Children team. Sport, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so I know it's a little hectic, I know it's a little crazy, but you know, that's the spirit of elections. So listen, just tell us, it's been 9 years since your last candidacy, right?
Yes.
Long time.
Yes.
Tell us why you wanted to get back involved this time around.
Well, I've been engaged in the community ever since. I never left. I've been a lifelong resident. And this is just me activating my passion for my community on a higher level. And again, the engagement that I'm experiencing as a SID president, meeting with council, with the NAACP, those types of things, I just wanted to do more. So I'm back and
Yes.
happy about it.
Clearly. So obviously there's 4 people seeking 2 seats. Those are 1-year terms. Why did you think that was a good fit for you?
Well, again, teaming up with the great teammates that I have, they already selected the 3-year seat, so it was just natural for me to slide into the 1-year seat that was available, and that we had to fight for via a lawsuit, actually.
Yeah. So what did you think about that whole process?
What I saw was that there obviously is a lot of miscommunication going on in the school system between the lawyers and the board members, and obviously us winning the lawsuit to get that extra seat shows that there's a problem at the board in itself.
So I know you and your teammates throughout this election cycle have spoken about the dysfunction of this board.
Yes.
Now, obviously, some of the trustees that are running don't agree, but you know that's to be expected, right? So why do you think that this current board really needs to bring things into a more civil, a more just congenial environment? What do you think needs to change?
Well, the board itself. You need to pick Change for Children. If you just look at the campaign itself, they've been throwing jabs. They've been very underhanded. They've questioned our integrity, but I would rather question their integrity and the ethic issues that are being brought against Sudan Thomas and other board members, and the fact that they have even had to change the board rules to allow them to vote on the budget. There's a lot of things in question there. and a lot of things that aren't transparent to the public that we need to bring to light.
So we talked a little bit, me and Alex, that is, we talked a little bit about, the whole budgeting process, and we talked about how the audit, he feels it could be done better. I mean, what's something that you think really needs to be more, clear as day for the public when we're talking about our public schools?
Well, to be honest, like no one can actually say how many dollars are making it into the classroom per dollar. What is it? Is it 10 cents per dollar from the budget? Is it 70 cents? What is it? Obviously, a lot of the budget is tied up in contracts, but as a parent, you would want to know how much of your funds, your tax dollars, your community funds are going into the real education of your child. So that's something that I think needs to be brought to light. Like as a parent, I would want to know how much of our tax dollars are making it actually into the classroom to effectively teach our children.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, that's a concern for anyone affiliated with the school district, I would think. So, look, obviously, you've spoken about this, I know, at length at every debate that I've seen and that I was present at. I mean, we've talked about how there's two different packs in this race, right? We have
Yes.
Garden State Forward, we have Fairer New Jersey, and for some reason, some people really have an issue with the LaFrac organization being involved in this race. And I mean, again, I know you spoke at length as to why you think this is not a big deal. So could you just articulate that for us again?
So, in essence, our side, well, to have a super PAC, you're not dealing with the super PAC and whoever funds it, first of all. So there's no communication, there's a wall, there's a barrier there. I've never met anyone in the LaFrac organization, nor has anyone on my team. But if you think about it, that's how cities move forward in a sense. Obviously through community activation, but through development. So developers play a part in every city. So for the other side to throw shade or throw rocks at us for just putting our best foot forward and other people in the background supporting us, shame on them, because they've been supported by developers and other entities in the past as well. So,
Very good. So when you're looking at the ballot, or really realistically when the voters are looking at the ballot on November 5th, what do you think is the biggest contrast between you guys and your opponents, and why you think you should get the vote at that time?
integrity, commitment. We have people on my side, Change for Children, that have been committed to this community for a long time. We have people who work for the city, myself included. We have parents. We have people who have not been brought up on ethics charges. We have people who have not wrote checks to cash to themselves as they've been trusted with community dollars on their side. We have great people on our side. So again, when you look at the ballot, I would say, hey, who can I trust? Who do I believe in? Who is going to speak to me as a friend, as a community person? And that's going to be the Change for Children ticket.
So if elected, what are some initiatives you would like to bring to the forefront right off the bat in January, should you get that opportunity?
Well, first I would like to understand why there's a disparity from one school to the next. Obviously, school choice is there for a reason, because certain schools are failing in certain areas. And as a person residing in Greenville, that's a big question for me. Like as a father, I sent my child to a school downtown. She did well navigating through that system and ended up at McNair. But a lot of parents not are as engaged, and they're forced to send their kids to a failing school. And it's not a condemnation of the teachers, but again, that's us failing as a community and as a system. And again, the Change for Children ticket team is stepping up and doing their part to rectify those problems.
Now, of course, always a hot topic in Jersey City, needless to tell you, is the next superintendent. So look, you've seen this, I don't know how many dozens of times in your life, right? But in recent memory, the past decade, I mean, you've been on both sides. Obviously, around 2012 or so, you thought Charles Epps needed to be replaced. And I mean, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you supported Marshall Isles as the superintendent.
I did not support Marshall Isles. I had nothing to do with her coming to Jersey City. I wasn't a school board member at the time. I did participate in a lawsuit to remove Dr. Epps, but our schools were failing and suffering at the times, and I'm sure that you will find a lot of parents and teachers that agree with me at that time.
Sure.
But again, moving forward, if you're asking me about our current acting superintendent, I fully support him. He's a great man. He's committed to this city. He's committed to the school system, and I have full confidence in him.
Okay, excellent. Well, look, I mean, I guess basically there's always a lot of controversy around the superintendent in this, in this recent political climate. So why do you think that, Franklin Walker is someone that could unite people and bring it together so that we don't see the types of scenarios we've seen in the past?
Well,
the recent past, that is.
With all that has been put before him throughout both situations of Dr. Epps and currently Dr. Lyles, and anything that's been asked of him, he's done it with integrity and dignity, and he's spoken to the people on their level. He is somebody who you can speak to. Like I said, as a parent, he guided me through the public school system. I'm sure he's guided many others. He's coached people in my family. Again, he's someone that I admire.
And a quick elevator pitch. Why do you think you deserve a one-year term when the voters go to the ballots on November 5th?
Again, it's just the extension of my commitment to Jersey City as a whole, and I deserve you to cast your vote for me because, again, like I'm going to work very hard to make sure that the resources that our children need, that our teachers need to be successful will be evident and present.
Very good. Sport, thanks so much.
All right, thank
you, everyone. We're not done yet. We have one more candidate. We're going to take one more break, and we'll be right with you.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office space and an address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment. Adjacent to all modes of transportation. On-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. 201-521-9000 or visit on the web at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View, live and uncut. I'm still John R. Haitis, and now we're joined with Ashidia Johnson, of course, from Change for Children. Ashidia, thanks for coming.
Hey, how are you?
Very good, thank you. So, listen, thanks for joining us. A high-octane, high-paced show, lots of fun. Glad you could be a part of it, just like your other colleagues, and thanks for adapting with us on the fly. So, just tell us a little bit about your community involvement and why you thought the Board of Ed was a good fit for you.
Well, I'm involved in the community in various ways. Something I'm most passionate about is reaching out to our youth that are otherwise forgotten. I do a lot of work around anti-violence, homelessness, and helping people who are less fortunate that have immediate needs like food, clothing, and resources like that.
Okay. Now, what exactly about the Board of Ed was something that made you want to particularly get involved in this race and actually put your name on the ballot?
So interacting in the community with parents, with teachers, with community stakeholders, and of course with the young people, I see that there is a need for change. And I know that word sounds like it's cliche, contrary to what has been said in media. I have attended board meetings, I have actually spoken at board meetings, and I've watched board meetings online. And to see the dysfunction, to see the immediate needs of the children and the teachers not being addressed time after time, year after year, I challenged myself to step up in another way and do something bigger, and that bigger was running for the school board.
So look, obviously Jersey City School Board is not the easiest and friendliest place in the world to be involved. I think that's a pretty safe statement to make.
Pretty safe.
So what exactly do you want to change, and what would you want to lead the charge on if you were elected to this office?
I think the transparency with the community, and when I say the community, I don't just mean the community at large, I mean the community within the Jersey City public school system, the supportive staff, facilities, maintenance, the administrative staff, and most of all the teachers. There is a lack of communication with not only the outside community, but the inner community in Jersey City public schools. Decisions are made on their behalf without any interaction with them or input from them.
Could you give us an example of something like that?
For instance, the last contract that was voted on, I have a lot of friends that are, in the school system and they teach. There wasn't a lot of conversation with the teachers about what it was and what it was that they wanted and what it was that they needed. And something that is, paramount to that is you have teachers spending anywhere from $200 to $500 for supplies for their classrooms. So you've got people who, claim to fame as they've been involved with this board and they've been on the board and they've been doing things. Then why do we still have teachers buying their own supplies for the classroom? Where is the money for that?
Yeah, I mean, look, the budget shortfall, of course, has been well documented across the state. I mean, dozens of outlets have talked about it, and you're intimately familiar, I believe, with this. So what do you think is the first step or the next step in correcting this budget deficit for, years to come?
So what first needs to happen is we need to look at the audit that has supposedly been done already to see what the findings are and to actually see what plan of action they've put in place to start to rectify some of those findings. If we find that the audit that was done was inadequate, then we're going to have to do another one that's more forensic and deeper detailed so that we can get some true findings and put some real plans in action.
Do you get the impression that there is any sort of waste? And I guess really what I'm saying, do you get the impression, do people tell you that there are no-show jobs that could be eliminated at the board?
That I haven't heard of, but there may be excessive jobs. I've heard that, there are areas in the school system where there is more than one, administrative secretary or somebody that's doing filing and things of that nature. And when it comes to making budget cuts, before we cut anything that directly affects the classroom, the teachers and the students, we've got to look at where we're spending everywhere else.
All right, so redundancy an issue in Hudson County. Hard to believe, but true, folks. So with that said, let's continue forward. So look, this has been a pretty competitive race. I mean, there's a lot of money being spent on at least two sides, right? And, as I like to say, there's a lot of blood in the ring. So, what do you think has made it come to this point where if you don't have a super PAC backing you, you can't really be competitive in the Jersey City School Board race? What do you think that means for the culture?
I can't necessarily say how it happened because it's been happening for so long. It's unfortunate that it does happen, but I think what matters when it comes to raising money is the everyday people. We've had fundraisers throughout this campaign, and what matters to me are the family members, the friends, the neighbors, the absolute strangers that have heard our message and come forward to our fundraisers to speak with us and talk about the change that they want to see. And I think that matters more than any super PAC.
All right, fair. So not to be repetitive, but when people go to the ballot on November 5th, obviously they have a lot of choices. What do you think makes you guys stand out from everyone else, particularly the other slate?
Well, for one, we've shown that we have integrity. I mean, you can see that in our history and our work with the community that I know of. None of us are possibly going to be indicted for, mishandling funds. We don't have any conflicts of interest as detailed and intimate as the members who are backed by the union do. And I think that we've already shown through our community work that we are ingrained in this community, and so they don't have to worry about us fulfilling a promise of reaching out to them because we already are reaching out to them.
So look, possibility of being indicted is of course a broad phrase. I mean, we could be
Very
here
broad.
well through the night, but let me read you something from a new court filing.
Okay.
So this is a certification of Stacey Flanagan in support of defendant's motion to vacate a default. Long story short, this is a lawsuit brought forward by a former employee of the Jersey City Employment and Training Program. We've spoke about this. I know you're familiar with it. In short, she says, at all times, I responded to this lawsuit at our attorney's request as quickly as possible, all the while complying with an FBI investigation, agency audits, and numerous OPA requests, searching for an executive director, rebuilding our board, and addressing the vast amount of issues from plaintiffs and Sudan Thomas's employment with the JSEP, and it's supposed to say organization, missing a word. So what do you think about the latest? This just came out, I believe, last night. I mean, any feelings, any instant reactions to that?
Listen, it's still alleged. He hasn't been convicted of any crime. Some of the details are pretty telling. And, like I say, in any situation, if you are doing a crime and you are doing a disservice to our community, you need to be prosecuted. And so, time will tell, the courts will tell how that whole story pans out. Yeah,
and I mean, look, just to provide a little caveat, I guess we'll call it. I mean, it does say an FBI investigation. It doesn't say who, it doesn't say where, it doesn't say why. So there's still a lot of questions to be answered. But I mean, look, that's a different story for a different day. So let me allow you to close out with us and tell us why you think you're a good, if not the best option for a 3-year term on the Jersey City School Board.
So for the last 10 plus years, I've been on the ground in this community, morning, noon, night, evenings, weekends. You know, I'm always accessible to the community, whether it be somebody needs food or clothing, a house is caught on fire, somebody's child has been killed. I am there, you know, and that's how I transitioned into my job of being a council aide for Councilman Robinson. I really care about the community I live in. I'm here in Jersey City, have been here for 15 years, and planning on buying a house here. I want to stay here, and I want this to be the best community it can possibly be, and I want the taxpayers to feel assured that the investment that they're putting into Jersey City is going to have a return.
Fantastic. Ashidia Johnson, thank you so
much.
Good luck. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. We're not done yet, but we are done with our interview, so just give me a moment to collect myself. We'll be right back.